Hi, this is John from Premiere Pro Classes, and today's tutorial is about how to use the tracking feature in Premiere Pro, which can save you a lot of time in keyframing when you want to, say, blur faces that are moving or put an effect on a moving object. It's super easy. Let me show you how. So here I have a couple random clips on the timeline, a couple cars going by, guy walking, and a couple girls sitting outside. And if you go to your Effects Control tab, and you click on a clip, in opacity is these masking tools here. And as soon as you click on one of these masking tools, whether it be the circle, square, or pen, you will get a little play button on the mask path. So what this does is it wants to track something for you. So it's right now with the opacity, it's asking, what do you want to track here? So let me put my screen up to fit. So here I have this red car, right? So I'm going to isolate this red car. So I'm going to move this circle smaller. And let's say I want to isolate this red car here with the circle. So I'm not actually at the beginning of the clip. So I'm going to say track forward. So what it's going to do is going to track that car's movement to keep that circle within the car. So now as I drag back, you can see that the opacity has tracked that car's movement. Now I only tracked from not the beginning, so here it stops. But here I can say, okay, I need to track the other way. So now I can say track backwards. So it's going to take that clip again, analyze it, track it backwards. And now you see that opacity follows that car. And you can see your keyframes are here, which you can adjust manually if something is off, because sometimes it's not exactly right. But the great thing about this is you can use it on almost every effect. So let's say now I delete that opacity mask and I'll do something else. So now I'm going to go to one of the effects and I'll go to, let's say, something easy, image control, black and white. And I'm going to drop that into the clip. So it turns the whole clip black and white, which I don't want. So I'm going to go to the effects control and I'm going to hit one of these masking tools. And this time I'll hit the pen tool. And this time I'll start at the beginning of the clip. So I'm going to pen around the car I want. Maybe that wasn't. Adjust that. So here I've penned around the car I want to be black and white. And you can see it's just targeting that car to be black and white. Now I'm going to say track that because I want that red car to be black and white the whole way through. So I'm going to say track forward. It analyzes the shots, makes all the keyframes for you, which would be very time consuming. And when it's done and I drag through the clip, you can see now that car remains black and white, which is pretty cool. So let's now go to another clip of this guy walking here. Let's say I want to do something very basic. A lot of times you need to blur faces that are moving around. This is going to be easy because he's well lit and there's good contrast. So I'm going to start at the beginning of the clip this time, and I'm going to go to the effects palette, and this time I will go to blur. So now I open up the blur and I'm going to get the Gaussian blur and I'm going to drop it in the clip. So of course I don't want the whole clip to be blurred, which would happen if I didn't do anything else. If I set the blurriness, the whole clip is blurred. But now I'm going to take the circle tool again, and you can see that this mask path control pops up here. So I am going to circle his face really quickly. You know, I'm just showing you how to use the tool, but there's so many things you can do with this, knowing that you can do all the effects. So now I'm going to blur it, and you can see that it's only going to blur his face and not the rest of the picture. So I want that face to be blurred through his movement. So now I'm just going to hit track forward. It's going to analyze the clip. It takes a minute. It's making all the keyframes for you. And when it's done tracking, you'll see that that blur will stay on that guy's face even though he's moving around in the picture. So that's pretty cool. So that's an easy way you can blur people's face. So as I move through it, you can see how that blur stays with that guy, which is super awesome. So now I want to go to these people sitting in the park, and I'll do something else. I'll go to the effects, and I will go to Lumetri Color, and I'll drop it into the clip. And if I go to the effect controls, I can see Lumetri Color also has these masking tools. So what I want to do is something I would normally do, but just quickly, I'm going to mask her face out because I want to add a little more color just to her face and her skin tone. So I'm at the beginning of the shot, so I only have to track forward. But first I'll do a little just really basic correction. I'll go here to color. Maybe I want to saturate her up a little bit. You know, I can work with all these controls, but I'm just here to show you the tool. Maybe I'll feather it out a little bit. And that's it. So now I want that to track her face. So I'm going to hit the track forward button. It's going to analyze that clip. And when it's done analyzing it, it should track just the color correction I did on her face. And it's done analyzing, so I pull back and I can see that that is tracking the face. Sometimes it's a little bit off and you can adjust those keyframes manually. So if I go to the keyframe area here and I spread out all these keyframes, I could actually go through these one by one and adjust it where it's not tracking correctly. So as I go down this clip here, I can see it moves off maybe here a little bit. And if I go to the keyframes, I can spread them out so I can see them better. And it keyframes every frame basically. So the keyframe I'm on now, I can just drag this out. I can drag this out. I can adjust the keyframes. I can add more control points if I want. So it doesn't do it exactly, but it does it pretty good. So as I drag through it, I would have to adjust keyframes as I go. But the basic idea is to be able to know how to use the tool. So here I can just go through so I'm not going to go through all these keyframes, but you can see that it will adjust the keyframes individually. Thank you for watching. Subscribe or like. See you next time.